Hi class, welcome to Chem 151. I am Suzanne Willis and I will be your instructor for the lecture and the lab portions of the class this semester. We are a completely online class and an asynchronous class, meaning we will not have any face-to-face Zoom meetings or class meetings. Instead, everything is fully set up for you online. So in this video, I'm going to orient you to the course, to the Moodle page, and to any of the different resources that you'll be using. So a little bit about myself is I have been teaching chemistry for the last 12 years and have been at AB Tech for the last 8. And yeah, I love teaching chemistry, partly because it's not always people's favorites. So I kind of always hope that people will leave the semester feeling like they have understood it and have tackled the subject, whether they like it or whether it's not their favorite, but at least they leave with some understanding of it. So I am here to help you and support you in any way that I can, especially in the online setup. I want you to feel very comfortable communicating and asking for help as needed and letting me know how I can help you be successful in the class. So I'm glad that you're here, and I also have 4 kids, and they are 8, 6, 4, and 8 months. So it's a quieter place to Zoom here than it was the last year at home. But yeah, everybody's getting back into the swing of things, and I know that y'all are probably still in that a little bit too, as far as things changing and life changing over the last year and still continuing to do so. So please feel free to be in touch with me as things come up this semester. I am fully aware that we are all living, interesting times at the moment, and I'm happy to help you through your situations. So as far as the semester and the class goes, here is what's called the mini syllabus. I'm just going to kind of run through it. It's an abbreviated form of the syllabus, and it gives you kind of just the highlighted points. So that's what I'm going to try to cover today. So here's my name. Email is definitely the best way to touch base with me. If I ever don't respond within 24 hours, please email me again, because it must have just gone past me. I will always respond within a day, even if it's to say, hey, I'll look into that, or I'll look at that when I get to a computer kind of thing. So email is best. I will also be sending you regular emails every week. So I'll give you any updates, and I'll remind you of the due dates coming up, that kind of thing. So please be sure that you're using your AB Tech email and that you're checking it very regularly. Generally speaking, I'll send an email like on Thursdays and on Mondays, so that you kind of get a beginning of the week reminder and update, and then a little bit later in the week. So here, as we run through, Moodle is the course page where all of our materials will be posted for you. So if I switch over to that, I'll kind of walk you through Moodle really quickly. Here at the top, I will always keep the up-to-date due dates here. So kind of the next couple of weeks, just to kind of make sure that those are in front of you. Usually the different dates that are leading up to the next test is what I try to do there. So these are the upcoming due dates. I'll talk about this Mastering Chem thing here in a few minutes. So always keep an eye there. At the top of the page is just kind of some different links. Here's the syllabus here that you can review. What I will actually ask you to do immediately in the course is to read through the full syllabus. Make sure you ask me any questions that you have, and then complete this thing called the syllabus verification. When you do this, all you're doing is saying, yes, I have read the syllabus, I understand the expectations, I've asked any questions that I have, and actually completing that marks you active in the course. So you have to do that by August 30th for me to count you as present and active in the class. So please do that as soon as you can. The Tutoring Center, there's kind of 2 different options. There's the Tutoring Center through AB Tech that offers online Zoom sessions and face-to-face tutoring. Those are free. The hours are posted there, and we highly recommend that. So there's the flyer. Thinking Storm is a fully online tutoring service. It's open 24 hours a day. So if you're doing homework in the middle of the night, then Thinking Storm is where you would need to go for help, because the tutoring center would not be available. Thinking Storm does limit you to, I think, 5 hours a semester. So let me know if you run out of time, and we can try to have that adjusted. But just as a heads up, you want to use the tutoring center primarily, but Thinking Storm would be nice if your schedule is not regular and you're doing work overnight. Up here, there's an equation sheet for the entire course. Some people like to just print this right off the bat and have it in front of them for the entire class. Solubility rules, we'll get to those. Periodic table is something else that would be nice to have printed for yourself. So up here at the top is just the information that's kind of general for the class, okay? Then what you'll see are the lectures for the class. So here there are going to be two types of lectures that you can go through. The ones I recommend are these live videos that are recorded. So what these are is when I taught live Zoom classes, I recorded those and have posted them here. And what that does is it gives you more of a classroom feel. So you can write as I write. You'll actually watch me writing, and I'm teaching a normal class through Zoom. So here you would click on there, and it'll indicate the different videos you should watch each week. Now, you don't have to do this perfectly, okay? If you have extra time this week, please go ahead and watch more. Or if you know this week's crazy and you have a little extra that next week, you can plan accordingly, okay? So you can hop around, and these are just the links to the different videos. Over here on the right, these columns are the notes that I have written during the video. So here's the lecture, and then here are the notes that I wrote, okay? So those are just there for you to reference if you missed something and would like to go back and look at that, okay? So that's one set of lecture, and they are all there for the entire semester, okay? The other option, these are going to be a little bit quicker videos, but less interactive. These are the pre-recorded lectures where it looks very similar. You'll just go and there's a list of all the videos. But what these are is I am talking through my notes that are already written down. So it's not as interactive. It's not going to feel as much like a classroom setting for you. So I think most students appreciate that live portion that feels like a class time. I do put in capital letters here. Please ignore all the due dates because it was from the spring of the semester. So those due dates will not apply to you, obviously. Okay. But all of the content is the same and the order and everything. So that's what I recommend for you to do. Now remember, if you were with me in class, you would be in class for 3 hours a week and you would be in lab 3 hours a week. So just be mindful that you're going to have several hours of videos every week, and that's to replace, the time that we would be together. For lab portion of the class, here are all the lab resources listed here. So right here in this, it says link to all lab resources, videos, and instructions. So when you open this up, you're going to see a list of resources for each individual lab. What these different resources are, they will include a video or multiple videos of me doing the experiments. So you'll watch me work through the techniques, and I will also provide data within the video. So you want to have your lab manual out with you so that you can record things as I'm talking through them. So you'll record the different data points. You'll write notes that I make and tell you hints as I'm going through the video so that you have an idea of what's going on in the lab and how to complete the calculations. So you'll see that there's videos, and then there's also a link for all the notes that I've provided, okay? So you'll want to look through each of those links every time you're sitting down to do an experiment, okay? There are a few experiments that are going to be an online assignment. I'll make sure that you're aware of that, but that's what's happening like here at Experiment 4, and you'll notice that once we get going, okay? So here, once you complete a lab, so you'll watch the video, you'll record the data in your lab manual, you'll complete all the calculations and the questions, and then when you have those few pages completed and ready to turn in, you are going to take a picture of those lab pages and convert them into a PDF format. I have a few apps listed in the syllabus I'll show you in a minute that can allow you to do this. So you'll take a picture, convert them to PDF, and then you will submit them here. So once you have experiment 1 complete, you will click here and upload your PDF there. And I will actually grade it on the computer. I'll be able to make marks on it and give you a grade. The due dates are listed here. Of course, they will also be listed at the top of Moodle. You, of course, can do it any time prior to that date, okay? I'll talk more about late labs and stuff as we go. Next will be the tests. So your tests will also be on Moodle. They are already listed here. Tests are one of those things that you can't do ahead of time and you can't do after the fact, unless we have talked. So here, each test will be open for a 2-day period so that you can take it at any time between those 2 days. It'll give you the time limit. It's 1 attempt. What we ask is please use your notes, please use your book, have your resources laid out and use them, but you cannot use people and others in the class or anybody else in general. So that's how the tests are set up, and they're all listed here. As things are going through the semester, if you ever need to take a test early because of a work schedule, or if something comes up, please touch base with me. The most important thing, though, is that you're touching base with me prior to assignments so that you're not coming to me afterwards having missed things in the past, okay? Of course, extreme circumstances, we're going to work together and make things work, but please just communicate. Otherwise, you're kind of stuck with these time periods for tests. After that, you get to each chapter's material on Moodle. So here what you'll see is there's always going to be PowerPoints and a few things at the top of each chapter. I don't personally teach with PowerPoints. I use what are called guided notes. I'll open one of them. So each chapter has what's called guided notes. If you have access to a printer, I would recommend printing these. So what you can do is space out the notes if you like to write extra or if you write big. You'll print these notes out and then have those with you during the videos, because as I'm talking in the videos, I actually am filling these in. So it'll be just like you're sitting in class with me, and you'll write down what I write down, listen to what I'm saying, add notes as you'd like. And so these notes are what you'll use for my course. They're called guided notes. And how these work is there's a blank copy and there's a filled in copy. Now this filled in copy is what I have used at some point in time, but for the live lecture that you've listened to, remember if you watch my live lecture, I may have used slightly different examples or numbers. So if you want to see those actual numbers written down, this is where those filled in notes are. Here's the video of me going through class, and here are the filled in notes. Once again, I'm going to recommend that you print the blank copy, because that's really going to let you write as we talk, and that helps you so much to understand the material more, okay? Below the guided notes is all my material, so I always say whenever you get to the chapter listing here, start at the guided notes and look down below. And the anything after the guided notes is just kind of extra. So there's lots of exercise, extra problems to practice with an answer key, or a practice test here and there with an answer key. Okay, so you'll see chapter 2 guided notes, chapter 3 guided notes, and then you just look below and there's some extra stuff in case you have a topic you want to do some extra practice on. Okay, so that's where each of the chapter contents are for lecture. Okay, and then at the very bottom of Moodle, you will see another set of videos. These are from another instructor, and I like to keep them there just in case there's a certain topic that just does not seem to be clicking and you'd like to hear someone else talk through them. You can go there and listen to another instructor for that topic, okay? So I leave those there just as an option for you. So that's kind of the layout of Moodle, and your grades will always be here, so you can check your grades. Please check them regularly. Please let me know if you ever see anything that looks incorrect. I really welcome your questions on those, and I appreciate you keeping up and watching them, okay? So if I jump back over to the syllabus, we've kind of already checked some of these off, but I'll keep moving forward. So Moodle, you now have an idea of what's there, how it's laid out. Your syllabus, you're going to read through the full syllabus, and please do the syllabus verification. Email, that's how I'm going to contact you. That's how you're going to contact me. It's right here for you. Please check it often. Please write me as you need me, okay? For the course, how it's broken down is you saw the tests on Moodle. So tests are going to be 50% of the class grade. Labs will be 25%, and homework, or sometimes they're called quizzes, homework or quizzes, the same thing, 25%. And I'll talk more about each of those as we go. The videos, you saw that there are videos for the lectures on Moodle, and then there's videos for the labs on Moodle. Those are going to be the main videos that you have to watch regularly, okay? You're going to print the blank guided notes if possible, fill those in as you work and as you listen to my videos, okay? That's kind of the best way to take in the material. So here are the 3 graded categories that I've mentioned. Here's the one I have not talked about yet, the mastering chemistry. Now these might be called quizzes in some places and it might be called homework in some places. I'm sorry for kind of the discrepancy there. It's the same thing. It's just the homework assignments, okay? You can use all of your notes, you can use people, you can use whatever you want to use for mastering chemistry. It's practice, okay? So there's an online homework assignment for each chapter, and each one you have 2 attempts for them. The highest grade will be kept. So you don't have to do it twice, but you can, and the highest one will be kept. If you turn it in late, it'll be a 5% reduction each day. It'll never go down below 50% though, so you can always complete it at least for some partial credit. And also be mindful that 1 homework grade will be dropped. So one of the mastering chemistry grades will be dropped. Once again, homework and quiz interchangeable. It's just mastering chemistry assignments. So let me show you how you would get to this. So masteringchemistry.com. And if you will need to purchase an access code, which I will talk about when I get to the materials. But once you get logged on and everything, what it's going to look like is you're going to have an assignment for each chapter. And I'll show you how the list kind of ends up looking. So you'll get 2 assignments. Remember, these are sometimes called quizzes. They're sometimes called homework in the syllabus. They're the same thing. So chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. You have a due date for them all. Remember, you have 2 attempts at each one, and the lowest one will be dropped. You'll see that there are 3 labs also in here. So 3 lab assignments are actually going to be mastering chemistry instead of out of your lab manual. So those are there as well. This intro to mastering chemistry, that is not for a grade. You do not have to do it, but if you've never used the program and you just kind of want to play around with an assignment, you can hop on there and just kind of answer some questions for practice, okay? So this is where your homework is going to be. And when we get to the materials, I will talk through what you need to get set up on that, okay? So you've got those. You have labs, which I've already talked about. You're going to watch the videos, complete your lab manual, and then submit them on Moodle. Remember, there's 3 that are going to be in the mastering chemistry instead of your lab manual. I will remind you of this as we get closer. So as mentioned earlier, when you submit your labs, you're going to need to be able to take a picture or scan them and then convert them to PDF. So a couple of options for this is finding an app such as Cam Scanner, or I've listed a few more down here. Cam Scanner, Notes, Office Lens, Genius Scan, Adobe Scan app. I've put several here that you can maybe try and find one that works on your device that will convert your lab pages into PDF, and then you'll upload them onto Moodle, okay? As far as late labs go, they will be 10-point reduction in credit each day, but I will only accept them up to 2 days late unless we have talked otherwise. So please turn in labs. You have up to 2 days after the due date to still submit them, and then I will maybe not go back and look at them again. So you've got to touch base with me if it's going to be after that, and we'll have to discuss it. So otherwise, just try to keep labs turned in on time. They're going to pretty much always be due on Sundays. So almost every Sunday night, you're going to have a lab due. So hopefully the class will start feeling very rhythmic, where it's somewhat on repeat and you kind of get the feel of what's expected every couple weeks or every week. The tests are posted on Moodle. Oh, one more thing about labs. 1 lab is dropped as well. So 1 lab grade is dropped. Tests, however, a test grade is not dropped. Instead, what happens with the test is you take them all on Moodle. The final exam is comprehensive. It's over the entire course. And the final exam will count as 2 test grades automatically. And then it also will replace your lowest test grade if it benefits your grade. Okay, so that's how the tests go. And if you miss a test, we'll just let the final count for that 1 test. Okay, I hope that is clear. You can let me know if you have any questions there. Web Advisor, that's where your final grades will be at the end of the semester. But in Moodle is where your grades will be throughout. So please continue to check Moodle Gradebook. I mentioned this earlier, but as far as tutoring goes, I am happy to help you as much as I can through email, answering questions. However, two really good options that are more available at more times for you is the Tutoring Center, which is both on campus and via Zoom. So you can look at the Tutoring Center for free tutoring services. They can help you with labs, they can help you with homework, they can answer any questions. So that's that. And Thinking Storm is the one that's fully online. It's open 24 hours a day. And there's AB Tech email and Moodle password to get logged on there. At the top of Moodle, there's links to both of these to have more information. In this course, it is really, really important not to get behind, and it's also really important to not say, oh, I don't get that chapter, I'll just move on, because generally speaking, that chapter is going to affect all the others. So you really want to use me, use these resources as much as you can to understand material as we go, okay? So, course materials. What you're going to need is a textbook of some type. So the textbook, it does not have to be exact. Okay, this is the textbook we use, the 14th edition of Chemistry, the Central Science. You can either buy a hard copy that's brand new, or you can get an e-text, so it's just on your computer as you need it, or you can get an older edition for cheaper, just get a used or older edition. That is fine as well. The textbook is going to be just for your extra help, okay? I'm not going to ask you to read a chapter, and I'm not going to have any graded assignments out of the textbook. So it's there for you to look up stuff as you need. Most of my students don't depend on their textbook really heavily if they have gone through the lectures, used the notes, worked the extra problems. Then the textbook just becomes something that might be nice to have on on a topic here or there that you want to look at. So a lot of students found the e-text to be a cheaper option and an okay option for this course. If you're taking Chem 1 and 2, it'll be the same textbook, so maybe that's something for you to consider if you might want to actually have a textbook for 2 semesters. Mastering Chemistry is where those homework quizzes are, right? So Mastering Chemistry comes alongside the textbook. Let me explain that. So the Mastering Chemistry has to be the 14th edition. So you have to buy the Mastering Access Code for this exact textbook right here. That's whether you buy the textbook or not, okay? The Mastering Chemistry has to match. You can buy it at the AB Tech bookstore or directly online. You just go to masteringchemistry.com and you will be able to purchase the access immediately. When it asks you for the course ID, here it is in red. I've put it in several places. It's at the top of Moodle. It's here and it's also at the top of the syllabus. And that will let you get to our assignments that I showed you earlier. Here's kind of the options with these. You can buy a brand new textbook and it will come with a Mastering Chemistry Access Code. So it will have both. It will be the most expensive option, but you'll have everything brand new ready to go. Another option is to buy Mastering Chemistry Code from the website, and you can purchase it either by itself or with an e-text. So if you want both the e-text and the access code, you can buy that together for a cheaper option, okay? Or you can get the Mastering Chemistry Code access all by itself online, and then maybe buy an older textbook that would be cheaper. I hope that's clear. So Mastering Chemistry, that is required. You have to purchase the code, and you're going to do that either at the AB Tech bookstore or at masteringchemistry.com, or it'll come with a brand new textbook. Okay? Please let me know if you have questions as you're getting set up there. You'll also need to go ahead and figure out an app that will allow you to take pictures of your labs and be able to convert them to PDF. You'll need a lab manual, which must be purchased at the AB Tech bookstore. So it's an in-house thing. We've made it here. So you will need to purchase it through AB Tech. Okay? And then a calculator. It does not have to be graphing or anything, just a simple scientific calculator and regular online access. So I know this is a lot. I'm getting there. The last part here is just a tentative schedule. So it's going to tell you each week what videos, what chapters you should be covering, what experiment videos you should be watching and completing in your lab manual, and then what kind of the upcoming due date is for that week and for those materials, okay? And then it'll keep you up to date with when the tests will be, when every lab is due, etc. So this is going to be a good thing to have available to you all semester, and it just maps out the entire course for you, okay? So hopefully this will start feeling organized and kind of rhythmic. Every week you have video lectures, every week you have lab videos to be watching, and you also have mastering chemistry homework to be working on, okay? And all of that leads up to each test. So I hope that that is fairly clear for you. I'll hop back to Moodle here for a second, and I'll just show you, here's that course ID that you will need when you go to get on to Mastering Chemistry. And here are the due dates that'll remind you just right off the bat what to get started with. Please let me know at any time that you have questions at all. I'm happy to help you and happy to support you any way that I can. So I'm glad that you're in the course. I hope you have a great semester, and we will be in touch. Thanks so much.